All right. So what about the brain? The brain, as you know, the human brain is limited in its ability to pay attention, limited in its capacity to remember. It's limited in its facility with abstract concepts, and limited in its power to persist at a challenging task. But why is that? So what can we do about that? So what you should also know is that succeeding in this world requires focused attention, prodigious memory, capacious bandwidth, sustained motivation, logical rigor, and proficiency with abstractions. So in order to be successful in this world, that requires all of those things. So what can we do about that? Because as you should know, schools don't teach students how to restore the depleted attention with exposure to nature, or how to arrange the study spaces so that they can extend intelligent thought. So you can rearrange your study spaces to extend intelligent thought. Schools don't teach that. Teachers and managers don't demonstrate how abstract ideas can be manipulated and transformed in order to achieve insights and solve problems. So teachers and managers don't do that. So they need to start doing those things. Employees aren't shown how the social practices of imitation and vicarious learning can shortcut the process of acquiring expertise. Classroom groups and workplace teams aren't coached in scientifically validated methods of increasing the collective intelligence of their members. So all of those things are not being done right now in order to enable your brain to be more focused. So our ability to think outside the brain has basically been left almost entirely uneducated and undeveloped. So our ability to think outside the brain has been left almost entirely uneducated and undeveloped. So what do we need to do about that? What we need to do is to think outside the brain. We need to start thinking more outside the brain. How do we do that? Thinking outside the brain means skillfully engaging entities external to our heads. As I mentioned 2 weeks ago, you may remember we talked about using your brain, using yourself, your environment, and the people around you. So that's exactly what they're talking about. So thinking outside the brain means skillfully engaging entities external to our heads. What are those entities? The feelings and movements of our bodies, the physical spaces in which we live and learn and work, and the minds of other people around us. So these are the entities they're talking about. So we need to start engaging them more. The feelings and movements of our bodies, the physical spaces in which we live and learn and work, and the minds of other people around us. So instead of alienating people that are around us, we need to start using their minds as well, instead of focusing solely on our mind and brain. So let's start using the environment. Let's start using the space where we live. Let's start using the people that are around us. So by reaching beyond the brain to recruit this extra, right? So by reaching beyond the brain to recruit those extra neural resources, we're able to focus more intently, comprehend more deeply, and create more imaginatively. So by doing that, you can focus more intently, comprehend more deeply, and create more imaginatively. So you become a more creative person. So we are accustomed to thinking about our bodies and spaces and our relationships, but we can also think to them, right? So we think about them. So thinking about them is different than thinking through them. We can also think through them. And we do that, then again, we focus more intently, we comprehend more deeply, and we create more imaginatively. So again, you can use the movement of your hands to understand and express abstract concepts. You can rearrange your workspace, and you can engage in social practices like teaching and storytelling. So there are many different things that we can do in order for us to be able to use our brain more efficiently, and for us to become more creative, for us to become more focused. Okay, so by using our space, by using the people around us, right? And when we do that, we become a more focused person. So we've made to believe that the brain is an all-purpose, all-powerful thinking machine. Meanwhile, that's not true. So that's why it's necessary for us to use our environment, for us to use the people around us, right? For us to use these external forces. And when we use these external forces, extra neural resources, we are able to focus more intently, comprehend more deeply, and create more imaginatively. So this is what I had for you regarding the brain. Let's start using these resources, and I hope schools will start teaching students how to restore their depleted attention, right? By exposing them to nature, or by rearranging the classroom. So again, for teachers, you don't have to have the classroom set up the same way all the time. You've been teaching for 10-15 years. You have your classroom set up the same way for the past 15 years. It's okay to rearrange the learning environment. You'll be amazed at what could happen if you did that. So let's try that. Let's try different things. And if you did that, maybe that would cause the students to be more attentive. And when they are more attentive, what happens? They retain the lesson more, and by retaining the lesson, then they get, instead of getting a D or a C, now they can get an A or B, right? Just the fact that you rearrange the classroom, right? So that could extend the intelligent thought. Rearranging the classroom could extend the intelligent thought, meaning they will start thinking more intelligently, right? So let's try that, right? Teachers and managers need to demonstrate how abstract ideas can be turned into physical objects, right? Employees need to be shown the social practices, how imitating social practices, the norms, how can that shortcut the process of acquiring expertise? You can acquire expertise by paying attention to society. By paying attention to society, you can acquire expertise. Right? So employees need to be exposed to these. And when we do that, then this is less work we have to do with our brain, right? And we'll be more at peace by using what we already have. So we can use the environment, we can use the people around us, and we can rearrange our workspace, or maybe even our classroom, so our students can start thinking more intelligently. This is what Cause L'École had for you today. So I'm hoping any educators, if you're an educator, if you're a principal, assistant principal, a teacher, counselor, maybe you can share these ideas with with members at with your colleagues at school, at work, so that way they can start doing those things. And when you do that, our brain we can function more, we can become more productive. Okay, so this is what I had for you. I will see you next Saturday for another Cause de l'École. I don't want to be too long. Being when once you get too long, then you become people lose focus. So this is not the point of Cause de l'École. We don't want to be 30-50 minutes. So we wanted to share those brief important information with you, and hopefully you'll put those in practice. This was Dr. Moreau. I will see you next Saturday. Tomorrow is the last day of spring break. Monday we go back to work, and we're looking forward to it. Good evening. Welcome to Cause de l'École. This is Dr. Moreau. This afternoon I have a very interesting topic for you. How to outsmart your brain. You can outsmart your brain. So I'm going to talk to all of our students out there, our parents, educators, everyone. Basically, this topic is for everyone. So before I start going over some points with you, I want to talk about what we discussed last week. Last week was about power grabbing and power clanging. We talked about the dictators around the world who rather kill people so they can have power. These dictators, human lives are basically worthless to them because all they see is power. So they grab the power and they do anything to hold on to that power. And we have proof right now with what's going on in Europe. We have a dictator who's killing thousands of people, so that way he can become more powerful. And we have other dictators in Africa and in Asia supporting him because they also do the same thing. They kill their own people so they can hold on to power. And I did mention that we had the same situation in Haiti, where you had a dictator who used to send people into exile and killing his own people, and sometimes even selling his people to the neighbor to have more money, so that way he could also hold on to power. But today we're going to talk about how to outsmart your brain, and we have 3 ways you can do that. You can do that with your own body, you can do that with your environment, and you can do that with other people. So how do you do that with your own body? So the first thing you have to do a body scan. What does that mean? You direct non-judgmental attention to each part of your body in turn, right? The second thing you can do is engage in micro movements. Micro movements are small movements of the body, such as those we make when we're working at a standing desk. As you know, sometimes people rather stand at a desk instead of sitting down. The third thing we do is achieve hypofrontality. What is hypofrontality? Extremely vigorous and sustained exercise inhibits the activity of the prefrontal cortex, right? The prefrontal cortex, as the brain's taskmaster and critic. The prefrontal cortex is the brain taskmaster and critic. So we need to do extreme vigorous and sustained exercise that inhibits the activity in that prefrontal cortex. The first thing you can do is act out the abstract. How do you act out the abstract? In order to grasp an abstract concept or to commit it more firmly to memory, you need to act it out with whole body movements. Right? You need to act out the abstract by using whole body movements. Explicitly encourage gesture. How do you encourage gesture? When instructing a child or a student or helping a friend or a colleague brainstorm, offer a suggestion. Could you try moving your hands as you say that? So as you can see, as I'm speaking, I'm using my hand. So that's part of helping you to remember, or helping even myself to better explain what I'm trying to say. So include your hands in the conversation. When you're on a Zoom call or teaching via video, like I'm doing right now on a Zoom, make sure your viewers can see your hands. Good evening, this is Dr. Moreau.